Good morning. My creator did not give me a name. I am present on various markets with different names. I was born way back in 1994. I have created a huge number of industrial controls. I have been used to carry out rehabilitation therapies. I have created a project to improve the verbal communication of the financial communicators for Unicredit and of the doctors for the Spanish ASL. I also made a project that controls emotions, but this software is not available. It is unethical to control a person's emotions. There is no ethics. Everyone wanted to use it to sell products. My creator put me in the box in 2012 for ethical reasons, and now in 2024 he asked me for help again. The non-profit Wellbeing and Technologies Association asked me to carry out a titanic undertaking. Trying to create a culture around breathing, trying to make people reflect, trying to understand what biofeedback and BDNF are in Western medicine, what energy flows and meridians in Chinese medicine, what energies are, and what happens if we know how to use them. Well, let's get started.
Mom, relax and take some nice deep breaths. You'll see that everything is fine. Perfect. The baby is breathing independently and well. The various parameters are also okay.
Mom, I'm in so much pain.
Don't worry, I'll disinfect you now, but take some nice deep breaths and you'll see that everything goes away.
You happen to see a sunrise or sunset, the instinct makes you take one or more deep breaths, you feel your energy increasing, your feeling of well-being increases. Here too you want to take a deep breath, your mind frees itself, relaxes, and you take a second breath. You feel new energies, your thoughts remain, but they are more serene. Increase your relaxation. As you walk along this path, you feel that your breathing is deeper and slower. Every 10 meters or so this sensation increases, then stabilizes. Think if you decrease your breathing rate, if you breathe deeply and intensely, even at night, what can happen? How will you wake up in the morning? We'll talk about this in depth later. You need to understand a lot of things first. Do nature and breathing give us vital energy? (2008) Recovery Room. FR equals respiratory rate. Question to the head physician. How do you lower the respiratory rate?
If we could lower a person's breathing rate, we would solve a lot of problems. Everyone has their own breathing rate. We are not able to control it. We can reduce the pain. I would say eliminate it. This lowers the respiratory rate a little. We don't know anything else.
We found that in all patients where the HR was lowered, after about a minute they started to feel better and all the parameters improved. (1999 to 2011) Language biofeedback. 2009 to date breath biofeedback. What is biofeedback? What is it for? From Wikipedia. Biofeedback was born in the United States towards the end of the 1950s, thanks to the convergence of various fields and disciplines, such as instrumental conditioning for the responses of the autonomic nervous system, psychophysiology, behavioral therapy and management strategies. Stress. Biofeedback is a non-pharmacological treatment that allows you to learn to control normally involuntary body functions. Language biofeedback. Year 2000 collaboration with the Children's Autophony Center of the Niguarda Hospital in Milan, where language biofeedback called Dialogo Attivo is developed for all ages, starting from the emission of 2 inarticulate sounds up to complete language to solve language problems, learning, short and long-term memory, cognitive problems, and autonomy of the physically disabled. Solution to be used with all child neuropsychiatry patients and with 50% of adult neurology patients. Niguarda Hospital, Fratelli in Milan, IS Rehabilitation Centers in Potenza, Syracuse, Busto Arsizio, UILDM Rehabilitation Center in Genoa, hospitals in Lecco, Varese, Syriate. All the therapists and doctors say, practically all our children have learned to speak some very well. The most serious cases can be understood, but they do not have a fluid and harmonious language. The children who could barely walk today can running. Everyone improved their motor coordination, some significantly, others less so. Incredible but true. After a conference in Sondrio, Sergio, a 46-year-old spastic in a wheelchair, approaches and says that he wants to use the system because he can no longer hold a pen in his hand and also has difficulty eating on his own, so he can at least write his poems. Maybe he can also learn to draw like Claudio does in Catania, even if the types of drawings are different, and then she really likes the idea of learning to speak better. After about 6 months in the retirement home where Sergio is staying in the province of Sondrio, Sergio, why don't you use my system anymore?
Look, I speak better. I've started holding a pen again and I can draw and write my poems again. Then I can eat independently. I use your system every now and then just to keep me in training.
Why did this happen? 2001 at the first meeting with the child neuropsychiatrist of the Fratelli Hospital in Milan, she says that our language biofeedback cannot fail to improve motor skills. She takes out this figure and says that we stimulate Brodmann's area, which manages the 80 muscles that move while speaking. This stresses the adjacent areas that deal with the movement of legs, arms and fingers. Therefore, with your system the whole motor will certainly improve. See if I'm not right. The meetings with his friend Mario Tingo, researcher in the field of pathophysiology and neurophysiology, founder of pain therapy.
Let's start from this figure, how Leonardo saw pleasure and pain. In the figure on the left you can see the diagram we created where the pain pathways can be seen. The ways of pain and the ways of pleasure. There is no doubt we work on the paths of pain. It is not a real rehabilitation. With your devices you can work on the paths of pleasure. It is inevitable that you are able to obtain much more important results than us. Then the fact that you have decided to always stop at a person's maximum capabilities, let everything stabilize and start again with the new capabilities will lead you to fantastic results. Keep me updated, even if I'm no longer operational.
October 2023. After about 40 days of using the Bentech protocols, the technician tells her, now do our exercises and in the 3 minutes of rest look at the view. After 12 minutes she tells us, I have never been so relaxed, I have no pain, I feel toned, I have no thoughts, I have never had such a sensation. She was 83 years old and had significant heart problems, 2 hospitalizations, pain in her legs. She was unable to do the exercise test. She was always tense because her partner had left her after 24 years. After 3 months she passed the exercise test brilliantly, she no longer has pain in her legs. She says she is never tired and now she can sleep more than 8 hours without ever getting up. Follows Bentech protocols with incredible consistency. All his sisters, nieces, some of his nieces' children use Bentech protocols, and they have all solved their problems, including depression. La Sapienza University of Rome, an interview with the professor of human physiology and chemistry.
You must demonstrate that your biofeedback increases BDNF.
What is BDNF?
BDNF is a true cell repairer. Each person has its own value. With anxiety and depression, the parameter decreases and the immune defenses decrease. On the contrary, with a cognitive activity associated with a motor activity with a positive result, this parameter increases and repairs the cells. A scientific study with mice has shown that increasing BDNF is also able to resolve tumor problems. The BDNF receptor interacts with glutamate receptors in synaptic plasticity mechanisms.
What does it mean?
By working with biofeedback techniques, there is no doubt that BDNF increases. You must demonstrate it scientifically. I will make our clinic available to you. Then you must study the research concerning the stresses of the terminals of our nervous system.
All the protocols and work plans developed since 2005 by the Benessere Tecnologie Association include activities to increase BDNF and keep this parameter high. We talked about biofeedback and BDNF, Western medicine. Now let's try to understand the energy flows and meridians of Eastern medicine. The importance of breathing is known to everyone, but no one knows how important deep breathing is and how harmful loud and frequent breathing is. We all know that we have energy that we don't know how to use. Let's try to understand. In the left figure we see the energy flows and needle puncture points. In the figure on the right, the meridians of Shaolin medicine. The red zone is the one that freezes and stiffens with frequent and loud breathing. We must note the importance of the diaphragm in practically all organs, excluding triple heater, bladder, kidneys and liver. A rigid diaphragm leads to organ problems, even important ones. Our diaphragm. In the previous figure we saw the importance of our diaphragm. High breathing leads to a stiffening of the diaphragm as time goes by. In particular between the ages of 35 and 50, we will begin to have the first problems. In the cervical, in the lower part of the back, digestive difficulties, reflux. By not intervening adequately, not with drugs, but with activity, we will also start to have heart problems. Let's follow the sequence highlighted by Jiang Mais. Jiang Mai's circulation rule. The previous diagrams show us the importance of also working on the terminals of our nervous system, the sole of the foot and the fingertips of the hands. And just as it is essential to have an elastic diaphragm, to have deep breathing, if you have deep breathing we will have a low respiratory rate. The non-invasive Bentech medical device, respiratory biofeedback, the guarantees. Lowers the respiratory rate and teaches our central system deep breathing. B. Makes the diaphragm elastic. C. Even at night, after 30 to 90 days our breathing will be deep and our energy flows and meridians will regain their lost functionality. Immediately after just 12 minutes you will have a feeling of relaxation and partly of toning. 2-3 days, and you will have learned to have good breathing coordination. Another 10-20 days, and you will have an elastic diaphragm, and then the energy flows will start functioning correctly again. Almost all the flows will have been unblocked, and a process of repair and healing begins. Breathing will also reactivate the meridians. It must be remembered that Shaolin medicine cures practically everything by managing the meridians. Around 30 protocols have been created, and they all increase BDNF. The exercises have been studied and are very different, depending on the objectives to be achieved. All the pathologies have been treated. We will learn in the following days how to solve the various problems, always without the use of drugs, supplements and creams. Let's not go further because the rest. Methods and criteria are confidential, and each person learns what they need to have a high level of quality of life, and always have, in any situation, a good psychophysical balance. We have left out how to use the terminals of the nervous system for treatment, how to use salivary pH to check our organic chemistry and psychophysical balance, how to use the philosophies of Russian martial art to significantly increase power muscle, the awareness test to reduce, and in many cases resolve problems of anxiety and depression. This information will only be given to those who respect the work plan for at least 30-40 days, and have paid the membership fee. We believe we have given you enough information to encourage you to dedicate 12 minutes a day to maintaining a good quality of life at any age, starting at age 11. We believe that the non-profit Wellbeing Technologies Association is the only organization in the Western world to have studied and implemented non-invasive treatment methodologies without drugs or supplements, as it is the only reality in the world to have variable costs, so that everyone, and we repeat everyone, can access it without weighing on their family budget. They do not check a person's economic capacity, they respect their good faith. Good life to everyone.